Welcome to Wayne Phillis Kia. I'm Ashley and this is the brand new NQ5 22 model year Sportage. This is a completely redesigned model and we're going to go through a few of the features today so that you can see what it's all about and hopefully come down and join us to see what you think of it. So one of the biggest improvements on this car is this suite of technology features. So for example, there is a remote start function on the car. You need to press the unlock button, then the lock button, and then you hold down the start button. And you'll notice that the indicators on the car flash to indicate that the car is about to start. You then have the buttons here for the remote function, moving back and forwards. So you hold down that button and the car will start to move. And as soon as you release it, it will stop. And you just hold it again to turn the car off. Now this car here is the top spec GT line. There are different powertrain options depending on which level of specification that you pick. So the other levels of trim that you do get, the S is the base model, you then get the SX which is lower mid-range and the SX Plus is the upper mid-range. Going back to the GT line here, this particular car has the 2 litre turbo diesel. There is also the option for petrol in a 1.6 turbo. If you drop down to the SX Plus, you will have those same two options, but with the addition of a 2 litre 4-cylinder petrol. And the base model and the lower mid-range, the S and the SX, they will have the option of the diesel or that 2 litre petrol only. So one of the major things that's changed with the new Sportage is the dimensions and the size. It used to be quite a small car among the mid-size SUVs that it shares its segment with. It's now among the bigger ones. And one of the things that demonstrates this best is the boot. So when we open this up here, you can see it's much larger than the old car was. There's over 1 metre depth and 1 metre width there. Volume-wise, this means it's now among the biggest cars that you can get for boot space. It's bigger than the bestseller in this segment, which is the Toyota RAV4. And you'll find that there's no problem with fitting a variety of things in there. So this, as we said, is the top spec GT line model, which means that it comes with pretty much everything that you can think of on the car. You've got plenty of USB ports throughout the car. Push button start again is SX Plus and GT. The other two will have a traditional key start. And as we move up to this center console here, this is where they've made a lot of the changes. So you can see this little section here is where you've got these traditional shortcut buttons. This is actually a touchscreen in itself. So this button here, if you press this, all of those options there switch to the climate control buttons, and they basically all have a dual function, which means that the whole thing is a lot cleaner and a lot simpler, and there's less clutter on the dashboard. The GT line has this massive curved screen. It's a dual screen, so your instrument cluster is also a screen that can be adapted. The infotainment screen here, this is common to most of the newer Kias in the range. They're gradually all transitioning to this, so it's the latest interface with the dual function. So you can see here at the moment I'm set up for the nav and the radio. If I want one thing to be the whole screen, I push that little tab there and that's what we'll get. So this car also has another of the features that first came out on the new Sorento and the Stinger when it was updated at the end of last year. That is the 360-degree camera system with blind spot monitors. So when you indicate on the dashboard, you come up with the view there that shows you down the side of the car, so you can literally see in front of you what's in your blind spot. When we put the car in reverse here, on that center screen, it's going to come up and show you exactly where we are. You've got the overhead view and then also the reverse camera, but you can also change and pick what you want to see through these cameras. So I can change it to an overhead of just the front. You can change it back to a rear without any of the car in it. There's various different options, and it does even a 360-degree spin to show you the location of the car. So the other thing we wanted to do was actually take this car out for a bit of a drive and show you what the dynamics are like out on the road. Now, as we said before, this car is the 2 litre turbo diesel. So traditionally a diesel engine, bit noisy, bit lumbering, but as you should be seeing through the camera here, this is really smooth. It's actually pretty quiet on the road as well. The driving dynamics that you get are going to depend on the personal choice that you make in terms of your engine. As we mentioned earlier, you've got the S and the SX, which have that 2 litre petrol engine, the 4-cylinder. That comes with a 6-speed automatic gearbox or a 6-speed manual, depending on your preference. Now, if you then go up to the SX Plus, you get that option with the turbo petrol thrown in there. That's the 1.6 turbo you also see in the Cerato and the Seltos, but they are tuned differently depending on which car you go for. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the little preview that we've given you of the brand new Sportage today. Obviously there's a lot more that we can go through with you on the car. We've got the other options that we can talk about a little bit more, and we are going to have some of those coming into stock very, very shortly. If you'd like some more information, please give us a call. If not, just head into the dealership and we'll be more than happy to give you a hand.